Hello and welcome to the Grizzled Warmaster. My name is Doug, and I'm sorry it's been a couple of weeks since I've put anything out. I meant to actually put out a video this weekend about all the news we got from Warhammer Fest, but I apparently recorded a video with no audio. So let's try this again. It is now official. We are getting 3rd edition Age of Sigmar, and this is going to be the cover, I believe, of the rule book that we're seeing right here on screen. This was announced day 6 of the fest. There were more Age of Sigmar items that were covered during Warhammer Fest, and we'll touch on some of those. We're going to kind of jump back and forth here, but I did want to start off with the big news, which is 3rd edition is coming. Now, and this is a cool image of a new character that we're getting, who is apparently I don't know if she's supposed to be on par with the Celestant Prime, but is one of the main kind of heroic figures for Sigmar, and will be a new model and is that kind of level. She's one of the upper tier, I guess. And we know that a lot of the story of 3rd edition will be about the rise of destruction, and Gur will be one of the main settings for the narrative parts of this. But the forces of order are also on the rise, and part of that is getting this new character. What is her name? Yeah, Indrasta, the Celestial Spear. Really cool looking model. So let's they've got to give us a few images here, and they talk a little about her. This spear is like a named legendary spear, Thin-Gavar. She's a monster hunter, which kind of relates to the the forces of destruction being on the rise. And we're going to talk a little bit about what is his name? Cragnose. Yeah, Cragnose. We'll come back to Cragnose here in a minute. So let's go back here. We've got some cool little images. The character looks amazing. They're doing a great job with models. Yeah, I like the wings. The armor looks really sweet. That spear is awesome. And yeah, just I like everything about this figure. I can't wait to get it. I actually play. I have a pretty big Stormcast army. I got into them with the 2nd edition battle box. I actually wanted Night Hunt, but so did my friend Mike, who is another creator on this channel. So he went ahead and took the Night Hunt, and I took the Stormcast. I actually ended up really liking them, so I'm pretty happy with them. But now we've also got a couple of other new models, and we know that they are going to be the Stormcast are going to be in the battle box. We're going to talk more about that here shortly, but we've got 2 reveals, and I assume we are going to get at least one more hero, because I don't think she's going to be in the battle box. I can't see a centerpiece character like this being in a battle box. I could be wrong, but I don't think so. So we got these new guys wearing Thunderstrike armor. I'm not going to do any spoilers for people who aren't up on the lore and might want to, read, haven't caught up with all of the different Broken Realms books yet. But these guys are wearing some Thunderstrike armor, which helps them get back to Azir easier with some of the events that are happening. I had postulated that we might be getting some spear-based troops. They've got bigger shields than normal. I'm really hoping this means we see something for Stormcast, kind of like the Wardens for the Lumineth, where maybe these guys, if they rank up and touch each other's bases, that they can form like a shield wall or something, which maybe give them +1 to save or something cool like that. Something flavorful for their, for rules for spear wielding guys wearing this new Thunderstrike armor with bigger shields, because they called out the bigger shields. I don't know if it's in this description here or not, but they point out that they have bigger than normal shields. So I'm really looking forward to these guys. I thought that they needed something more than just the regular hammer guys. I hope these guys will be core and just like basically spear wielding liberators. So we'll see. But let's go ahead and look at, they have some different poses. You can apparently, these are just moving the arms. So it looks like it's just one pose. Well, no, that's actually that's a different way the hand is holding it. I think that's the same as that one, but that is distinctly different than that. So that's interesting, as is that. Although these two might be related. So maybe there's two different arm poses holding him. But that's cool, having the spear kind of drawn back. Hell, this looks like it would be part of a shield wall. Really excited for that. Hoping. And then these guys. They are... I think these guys are Vindictors. They have storm spears and heavy shields, they say. There you go. And these guys are Annihilators, a new generation of Paladins, and they look super cool. They look like they're Terminators to, we joke that the Stormcaster Sigmarines, these are the Terminators to go with the Sigmarines. They've got a 2+ save thanks to this heavy armor and that big giant shield there. They've got this, they are like raging bulls with the momentum from the bulk of their charge. So I'm betting we get mortal wounds on the charge. They've got these cool big hammers. You got the twin-tailed comet here. Somebody was joking about how they, leave twin-tailed comet impressions on people's bodies when you slam them with these big maces or big hammers. These guys just look really cool. I'm looking forward to having some of those. It's great that they're reimagining a paladin, because the old paladins look cool, but they are just so much outshone by the evocators that there's no reason to take them instead of an evocator, except for the fact that you might have them in your collection. But these guys, they just look cool. I can't wait to put some of these guys together. Then we had this little video talking about stay out of the mire. It's got this little kind of tease for the new army, the new faction that's coming out. And while these, I'm not going to play the video, obviously. You can go out and watch the video. But these are going to be the other half of the battle box that launches the new edition. And we can speculate about what it is, but they certainly make them sound like a brand new faction. Like, this isn't a new type of Git, or it's not, I don't think it's Skaven reimagined. As much as I'd like them to take Beasts of Chaos and strip them away from Chaos and make them part of Destruction, I don't think this is a reimagined Beastmen. This looks kind of weird with the... I think there's supposed to be eyes, but there's never two really... There's two that are kind of paired up. There's one. So I'm not sure what we're going for here. I think this was just kind of... I don't think these really represent anything. We're not going to find guys with 3 eyes, or something like that. I think this was just a kind of like, ooh, it's spooky kind of thing. I could be wrong. And this could be just some really weird, random, brand new race that we're just like, oh, where'd these guys come from? Wow, that's really imaginative. I think they're going to be Destruction, for one. Well, I think they're either going to be Destruction or, and I think these might actually be Destruction too. I actually think they're Shadow Elves. That's where I'm going to go out on a limb. I think these are Shadow Elves. It's time. They kind of introduced Malarian in some of the fluff, the fiction for the Broken Realms. So I think we're going to get Shadow Elves. Just going out on a limb there. I could be wrong, could be something brand new, but the other thing I want to talk about here with the new edition, well, a couple of things. They put out an article, 4 things you need to know. It's light on details, but if you listen to this interview, they do spell out a couple of things. One, the random turn mechanics are sticking around, and they are working to retool that. And they give one example of this. I don't think it's the sole thing. They give one example of how they're trying to improve the random turn mechanics, and that is going second will earn you extra command points. So that's cool. They also implied that there would be more to do with command abilities in every phase. Currently, there is something to do command ability wise for every phase except I think the hero phase. So I could see maybe there being a command ability for casting magic better or dispelling magic better. We've got the turning automatic 6-inch runs. You've got rerolling ones to hit in shooting or combat. You've got rerolling charges. You've got making somebody insane bravery or whatever it's called in immune to battle shock. So they do apply in every phase, but they implied that there would be more you could do, that you would be more engaged, and almost to the fact that it sounded like each person in each turn would be able to spend command points, and which implies that the command points may be a little more free flowing than they are currently, but who knows? Again, it was very vague, but there was a few hints and suggestions. They talked about a few other things. One of the major things was that they're trying to add in some balance for War Scroll battalions, where there are some factions that have really great War Scroll battalions that just they just fit the army. You can single drop it, or you just have this super reliable, it's everything you want in your army shoved into one battalion, or most of what you want. And then some armies, their battalions are essentially worthless. So they're trying to address that, and they hinted at that would be addressed by what they're calling core battalions, which I assume, based on the way the subcontext of the interview, is that these would be battalions that all factions, that would be in the rule book, and all factions would have access to them. And for something like a core battalion, it sounds like something like maybe your general and your battle line could be in one battalion, or maybe it's like several heroes could be in it, or just your battle lines, or who knows. And they said core battalions, not core battalion, so I assume there will be multiple iterations of it, and they may be bare bones, where it's just like, yeah, you get to put all these guys in a battalion, you get an extra command point, you get a relic, but that's it. Or maybe something really like everybody in this battalion, if they're close to another one, they get a +1 leadership, or who knows what they could do with it, but it's intriguing, and I'm excited about that. But yeah, let's go to look at a couple of other things. They have, I'll come back to that. There's a few things they covered. The story continues. I'm not going to go into that because I don't want to spoil anything. The new edition is built to work with existing battle tomes, so it is not a total. It's not 8th edition 40k where the rules totally changed and you had to put out a quick little flyer for each army saying this is how they'll work in this new one. They're all backwards compatible, so there will be new rules, but not so new that you couldn't field your army, even if you weren't a recent codex that was probably designed to take these, or battle tome I should say, that were designed to take these into the new rules into account. So they've got that. This was really light on details. This 4 things you need to know was really kind of This is probably the most exciting part, a new and improved path to glory, and they strongly hint that it will be based on 40k Crusade, which I have recently been getting into, reading about. Haven't got to play it yet. I've got a group of friends who have both types of army, 40k and Age of Sigmar, and we're going to start a 40k Crusade. Those Crusade rules are awesome, way better than the Path to Glory system, so I am glad they are poaching that and bringing it over to Age of Sigmar. One of the main reasons I am super into competitive Age of Sigmar is the narrative rules really suck. Most of us aren't going to play in more than, 5, 10, tournaments a year. Most of them local ones that only have 10 to 20 people in them. So having these narrative rules that you can just, 3 or 4 of your friends, you can go, hey, let's play a quick campaign. We're going to, a series of 6 battles that grow over time, and you'll get to level up your dudes. That's pretty exciting, especially I come from a background where Mike and I play D&D all the time. I love the old turn-based, like role-playing games where you built up your guys and made them better and you could gain followers and stuff like that. I love that element of the Crusade rules, so I'm looking forward to that. And then finally, there is going to be a new launch box. So that battle box, I don't know if battle box is the correct term, like the Indomitus box for 40k 9th edition. Stormcast will be one half, the new faction, whatever. Well, I think it's a new faction. They just say, who is it going to be? But so you've got, these two are going to be in it. They kind of imply that she's going to be in it, but I don't think that's right. It's just, I think she's just going to come out at the same time. And then finally they hinted at, hey, go check out the website. You find some more stuff out in the coming days. And if you come over here, this is just that, 10-second, the thing lighting up. There's no info here. However, they do have this timer, which is ticking down to 18 and a half days from now. I do not believe third edition is coming out in 18 days. What I think is going to happen in 18 days, we are going to get the definitive announcement of when it is coming out, who the new faction is, and what's going to be in the box. And then from that point, we will then get probably a month and a half of previews of here's how the new Stormcast play, here's how the new faction plays, here's some sprinkling of what the rules are going to be like. So we've got a little over 2 weeks, just shy of 3 weeks, until the big announcement of when it's coming, and then I would assume 4 to 6 more weeks after that. We will get, I believe, third edition before the end of the summer. So that is pretty exciting. That's really cool. Now, there was a lot of other stuff that they covered during the Warhammer Fest. I'm not going to really go into the underworlds. They introduced a Idneth Deepkin group. Not, whatever. They looked cool, but, it's not enough to go delve into here. Here we go. Here's Cragnose. He's big. I think he's the size of a Gargant. Let me start off by saying model looks super cool. The details on it, really awesome. I like the armor. It looks really cool. The mace looks really cool. He is a well done model, but I'm still super disappointed in him. Not because I think Destruction needed a god level character. That's cool. No problem with that. But it felt like I don't want to say a bait and switch, but he's essentially a bigger Shaggoth, but not a Shaggoth. He's just like a horned centaur or something like that. So it's like, you had the perfect, you made him a Shaggoth. He was a Shaggoth in his little, what's the term I'm looking for? Basically, like a profile picture that was blurred, that was blacked out. So it was just a shadow. You led everybody to think he's a Shaggoth. You basically changed the design of a Shaggoth from scales to fur, but that was it. So I'm kind of frustrated in. But otherwise, he's cool. I think he's got cool rules. Destruction needed something, so I'm not upset on that front. That's part of why I wish he had been just a giant Shaggoth, and that they had made Beasts of Chaos just back to Beastmen. They've always been associated with Chaos, but the lore they're going with now in Age of Sigmar is divorced from that. Like, they look at people who sign up with one of the gods as, lesser than, as weak, because they couldn't manage it on their own. They needed to pray to a god or something like that. I think that would have been cool to just say, all right, they're about destruction, not necessarily chaos. Destruction is into chaos, but they're not into chaos. Capital C, I guess. So I think it could have been an easy switch over, and you could have made this guy a Shaggoth. But whatever. He's got some cool rules that he adds one to the bravery characteristics. That's fine. This is what's super cool. The shield and violet. He essentially you just don't want to cast spells at this guy. He rolls 3d6 anytime he is affected by a spell or endless spell, whether it's directed at him or not. He might just be in the way of it or in the area of effect of it. He rolls those 3d6, and if it's greater than the casting value of the spell, not what they rolled to cast, but what is required to cast in its spell description, then it just doesn't work on him. And since most are between 5 and 10, he is almost guaranteed. Well, I should say he's got a better than 50-50 chance of just shrugging off spells. Even spells cast by Teclis, he's got an even chance of just ignoring. That's pretty cool. I'm pretty excited about that. I don't know that they told us when Cragnose was coming out. It was not on the pre-order for this week, so I'm not sure when that's coming out. We got some, here's some of the models that are coming out at the same time along with him. Oh man, that Lord Croak is awesome. We've seen all of these guys. So they kind of just brought them up. It just kind of grouped them all together. They appear in the Cragnose book. They will probably come out for pre-order all at the same time. I'm going to stop there because they've been teasing more about the vampires. So I'm going to do vampires all together, all at once. But there's going to be a lot coming out about Age of Sigmar over the next days and weeks and even probably a couple months. So I'm really excited about that. So you will be getting more videos focused on the lead up to 3rd edition. And as we we'll more, I'll probably talk about how I'm going to convert my various armies to get towards that. So we'll get into that as well. Because now we've got those new models, I'm excited to break out my Stormcast again. So it's gonna be hard to choose between playing I have almost 4 functional armies. I've got my Stormcast, I've got my OCR Bone Reapers, I'm well on the way to getting my Lumineth army put together, and I've got about half of a Seraphon army put together. So it's gonna be fun times with this new one, and I just wish they'd given us. Well, it sounds like we got a little bit of time, but I wish they'd given us more, so I had longer to save up for that battle box. But all right, guys, there we go. That's the exciting news we've got from Warhammer Fest this week. Let me know what you think about the various reveals, and down in the comments, and we will talk more about them in the coming weeks. Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and if you would, please share with a friend. Thank you, and we'll see you next time.